What's on your e-bike wish list? An ultralight frame you can actually lift? GPS tracking for ride metrics and the ability to find a missing or stolen bike? How about long battery life, a smooth ride, and a bike that's easy to mount? Even on-screen navigation and directions plus voice control?
E-bikes are magic. They can help you get places faster, ride longer, and with less effort. Plus, they are lots of fun to ride. In some cases, they can even replace a car. But e-bikes do have their downsides. Chief among them have been high costs, low battery longevity, and metal frames that weigh almost as much as I do. Plus, they're big targets for thieves.
When I heard about a new brand called Urtopia, it seems to check all the boxes for me. So in this review, I'm going to try out the new Urtopia Carbon 1 step-through e-bike.
I'll take it on several rides over a couple of weeks to check out what the comfort and feel is like, how far I can take it, and what it's like to move if I'm not riding it. I'll dig into a few of the special features it has, and then I'll wrap things up with both the pros and the cons and let you know if I think I can recommend this e-bike for you.
I'd like to say thank you to Urtopia for sending me a bike to try out. Though the company did supply one, it didn't ask for or receive permission to have any input into this review, and I got to test it out as I wanted, so you can consider these thoughts my own. This is a lightweight step-through bike, which makes it really easy to get on and off. It's got a handful of digital controls, plus a companion app that offers some additional features. When your bike arrives, it will be delivered in a very large box, so be prepared. You will also have a few assembly tasks to take care of before you can start pedaling.
Depending how proficient you are with bicycles, which I am not at all, you might want to set aside an hour or so for the unboxing and to put it all together.
Fortunately, one of the great things about choosing a Urtopia bike is it arrives almost 90% fully assembled. For what's not in place, the company includes the basic tools for you. The rest of the assembly involves attaching the handlebars, front fender, digital info screen, front wheel, and the pedals. Everything fits together perfectly, and the instructions are easy, so this isn't a difficult task. Next, you'll want to download the Urtopia app, and the app is going to offer you a wealth of other options and some services. You get GPS location tracking, unauthorized movement alerts to your phone, ride tracking, and low battery notifications. Here, I'll touch on the anti-theft features in a bit more detail. First, you can enable fingerprint unlocking so the bike will always be secure. Plus, thanks to that GPS location tracking, you'll always know where your bike is, and with the movement alerts coming right to your phone, you'll know quickly too. This is a pretty amazing security package, which is tied to a virtual SIM or eSIM, which is part of the bike's smarts.
And because Urtopia has built it into the electronics and tied it to the app, it's not like hiding an AirTag, which can be found and removed. Now, it is important to note that these special digital features are free for the first year of ownership. After that, you're going to pay an annual fee of $39. Now, depending on how you feel about subscription services and paying for extras like this may feel like a very affordable insurance policy, but given that you are essentially running smartphone connectivity through the bike, you shouldn't be surprised it comes with a cost.
I was really excited about this bike, so I took it out right away just to get a feel for it. The incredibly light weight of the frame is really noticeable after riding a bigger and heavier bike for the last couple of years.
Without any accessories attached, the Urtopia Carbon 1 step-through e-bike weighs about 36 pounds or just over 16 kilograms. That is about half the weight of some competing step-through e-bikes with aluminum frames. And give me a second here. I'm going to take you along as I go over and show you how easy it is for me to lift. I mean, this would be so simple to lift into a vehicle or to put onto a mount, and it is definitely leaps and bounds better and lighter and a lot easier to maneuver than a lot of other e-bikes I've tried.
For this, you can thank Urtopia's decision to use a race-grade T1000 carbon fiber frame made by Toray, and it has a high strength-to-weight ratio, so the bike doesn't feel cheap in any way. The e-bike also uses puncture-proof but narrower 1.6-inch Kenda tires, which does sacrifice the off-road performance, but in my opinion, people that are buying this as a commuter bike probably aren't going to be riding it down the mountain on the weekend.
Now, the bike's lightweight frame in part contributes to a maximum weight limit of about 240 pounds, which is is significantly lower than a rugged e-bike, but should be just fine for us ladies, casual commuters, and light travelers. Considering how Urtopia didn't compromise on the range and the motor, this is actually a pretty good balance.
I do want to mention this e-bike does not have a throttle, which is a lever you can press that will accelerate the bike on its own. Instead, it uses power assistance, which does make your ride a lot easier.
In truth, this is something I thought I was going to feel pretty grouchy about. I've been riding an e-bike with a throttle for the last couple of years, and the convenience can't be overstated. But with the Urtopia Carbon 1 here, I very quickly found myself not missing the throttle at all, except off the jump when I was moving from a dead stop. There's no denying a throttle to get you going from zero is a huge boost, but I very quickly adjusted my riding habits, and I found that I really enjoyed riding the bike with just the power assistance. It made me realize how little I actually use the throttle on my other bike when I am mid-ride.
Since I'm on the topic of the power assistance, I'll touch on the controls. On the left-hand side is a small diamond-shaped gearbox with 5 tactile buttons to adjust the power assist up or down, or to enable the horn or lights. In the center of the handlebars is the dashboard screen. The LED dot matrix may look dated, but it's actually connected to some modern skills like showing your speed, ride time, and battery life. I suspect Urtopia made this conscious decision to use LEDs to prolong the overall battery life and range. Also on that dash screen is where you'll be able to view GPS-enabled directions. As long as you first connect your phone to the bike with Bluetooth, you can use the Urtopia app to have simplified directions routed right to that dashboard screen. And I will just note the flickering you might be seeing on some of the shots here is from my camera, not from the screen itself.
The directions are pretty simple, and it will give you essentially just a heads up about when to make a turn. Definitely not the same thing as running Google Maps mirrored on the screen, but it is a really great option for people that are constantly using mapping and directions.
You can also enable the voice feedback. Just long press the center button on the control box to speak a command.
Speed 1. The Urtopia Carbon 1's motor is paired with a Shimano 8-speed drivetrain, which will give you a top speed of about 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour.
Top speed is the key phrase here, though, and for everyday average use, you can expect around 20 miles per hour. The Urtopia Carbon 1 step-through e-bike relies on a Samsung 36-volt battery that, when fully charged, gives it a maximum range of 80 miles or 125 kilometers, which I'll tell you is a long distance. When it's empty, you can charge the battery to full capacity in just 2.5 hours, which is much faster than previous e-bikes I've tested. For the first day or two, I really just rode it without trying to use any of the smarts or special features, but once I had a good feel for the bike, I dug in on some of those features and put them to the test. Thanks to the Bluetooth connection with your phone and the small speaker in the LED screen, you can use the speaker to listen to music or podcasts, though the audio quality isn't outstanding, but it is good enough for this purpose. I really enjoyed riding this bike. I can't get over how much the lightness of the frame actually makes riding so much easier, and it often means I can get away with less power assistance, which prolongs the battery life. After a few rides, I did find myself wishing for some printed emblems on the control box buttons. Nothing's labeled here, so you have to go from memory to remember which buttons do what and whether you need to long or short press. In short, though, the bike gives you the stability of riding on a cruise ship with all the fun and nimble movement of a jet ski.
Now, one thing I will mention is that this bike does only come in one size, and Urtopia says the frame should be made to fit anyone from about 5'1" to 6'1", but I actually think that is kind of a stretch. I'm 5'8", and I found this bike size to be a little on the short side, a little on the compact side for me. That forced me to kind of sit up straighter as opposed to leaning forward, which is not a big deal. It's just a different kind of ride. But I think someone who's much taller than me or who had much longer legs than me would actually find this bike pretty cramped to ride.
The company does include handlebar spacers in the package in case you do want to make some adjustments.
Overall, this is a great e-bike for first-timers or occasional e-bikers, and the step-through design and the use of lightweight materials really make the Urtopia Carbon 1 a really solid choice. Now, with that said, it might not be ideal for power users. Let's tally up both the pros and the cons to see what this e-bike might look like for you.
On the pro side, I love the light weight of this bike. It was easy to assemble too. With the companion app, you get additional options like integrated mapping and directions on your digital screen too. Speaking of which, I also like having that large screen as an information output. Makes it easy to see in the sun. The bike feels incredibly well made and durable, and I really enjoyed the step-through design, plus the seat was ultra comfortable. With GPS tracking, you always know where the bike is, and with those unauthorized motion alerts and digital lockup, it can help keep it safe. I really appreciate having the different levels of power assistance and found I didn't even miss not having a throttle. The lack of throttle may be one of the bigger cons for some of you out there. It is definitely a treat having one. It makes it easier to go from a cold start, but like I said, I've gotten used to life without one. I also found this frame to be just a smidge on the short side for me, and I don't know that this bike would be totally suitable for much taller people.
In short, I've really been enjoying the Urtopia Carbon one step-through e-bike experience because I get comfort, speed, a long battery life, and lots of extras from the app connectivity. I can definitely recommend it for you. Now, this is not the first e-bike I've reviewed, and if you want to see what else is out there, you can check out some of my other reviews right now.